What's up, guys? So I just got a spoiler. I'm going through the feed here. I predicted, but I didn't make a video because I was busy with my other channel. No joke. I told my friend Alexander Povetkin would lose by KO to Anthony Joshua. And I was just watching the other day, Showtime analyst Paulie was talking about it, and he thought Povetkin was tricky. I didn't see the fight yet. This is just in my feed. It says Anthony Joshua retains his titles, and I'm kind of upset at myself that I didn't, because I like being right. I like being right officially, and I like making my predictions and leaving a track record here while I'm at it, and I've been busy on the channel here, but I just didn't have the time. But take my word for it, I wouldn't have any reason to lie. That'd be pathetic, right, if I told
Yep. No, you did predict it, you just didn't put it out.
Yeah, so anyway, we got a special guest here, artist Ron from Ron. Where are you
Art
from?
Studio with Ron.
Yeah, he's sitting here. He's going to chime in here. We're in a car chilling Saturday night. I don't know where I'm going to put this out. Maybe Sunday. So, guys, I just want to get this in real quick because I don't know when the battery's going to run out on this phone. So, if it just ends, I'll probably get on the mic in the house and say peace. So, obviously, Joshua's going to win if you know anything about boxing. Povetkin, for me, is just not, he doesn't have that it factor, meaning he's just another heavyweight that is at the top with just enough skills to get by. Doesn't impress me at all, and we need Joshua versus
Wilder.
That's right.
It's got to happen. When's it going to happen?
That's a tricky question because I believe that Joshua's fighting in the UK now. There's a lot of people saying he's ducking and dodging according because his promoter supposedly, Wilder's saying they reached out to his camp. He doesn't want to fight outside of the UK. There's a lot of money there. Are we going to have to wait? Ron, this is my point. Are we going to have to wait until freaking like Pacquiao Mayweather won, when there's two older guys, when Wilder's 35 and Joshua's whatever, he's I think a bit younger. I don't know off the head. I really don't know. But are we going to have to wait 5 years for these two to fight? I want to see them fight. I know Anthony Joshua's got skills. I know he's probably at the top of the heavyweight division, and I also will tell you, everybody, in my opinion, that Wilder is too. He beat Ortiz. A lot of people were saying I wasn't going to be right on that prediction, but I was right. He beat Ortiz, who is a very skilled Cuban fighter with a deep amateur background, amazing, great fighter for the heavyweight division, really, and somehow gave Wilder tons of trouble, and he came back just like with Klitschko. But Klitschko, I believe, was beyond his prime. This is where it gets interesting. Joshua went down against an older, faded 40-something Klitschko, hovering around 40, whatever he was, and that's a big deal. Now, Fury also fought the same guy, Klitschko. If you don't know, Tyson Fury is going to fight Wilder. He's stepping up. For me, he's not ready for that. He abused drugs. He's coming out of a long layoff, 2 tune-up fights, looking okay, blasé. Didn't even knock out his last opponent. And he's going to go in against Wilder? That's crazy. We need to see the big one. So what do you think about that, Ron? Don't you want to see, as a casual boxing fan, don't you want to see Joshua versus Wilder?
Definitely
like
want to
right now?
see it. Yeah, that's the big one. I mean, there's money to be made. People want to see this. I guess my question is, will Wilder go to the UK for this, or does it have to happen in Vegas?
I suspect Wilder will go to the UK. For the money, he won't get a decision if it goes to the cards because I believe the boxing's so corrupt. And if it's one of those heavyweight fights where it's close, but it's going to end in a knockout, baby. You guys know what time it is. This is going to end in a knockout.
It's now, two big boys.
Yeah, two big boys. Now, this is going to be a great fight for several reasons. One of the reasons is because when I matched them up in my head, I really can't say who's going to win definitively like I normally can predict. Like, oh, a clear winner in my head. I'm leaning towards Wilder right now, and in the past I was leaning towards Joshua. But based on the Ortiz win, because I don't have a measuring stick with Joshua, he fought an older Klitschko. Klitschko was, don't get it twisted, Klitschko was beyond his prime, way beyond his prime.
Heck of a fight, though.
Heck of a fight, made it for a great fight. But when you got a younger guy, Canelo, struggling against a much older guy, that to me doesn't say a lot. That to me says, well, there's an issue. If you got a younger guy in his prime, having a great fight where he's been down, back and forth action, to me, that's almost like a struggling against an older fighter. Especially with Klitschko. He's like 40 years old at the time.
Yeah.
That's what I said about Ortiz, great fighter, but he's still under 40, but he's pushing it. So that it's hard to measure these guys. But because of the skill level of that Ortiz brought to the fight and the fire, Klitschko was more, to me, more of a beat-up, war-torn fighter because he was knocked down, knocked out, few times, just beat up, longer career as far as being a professional, taking more damage. Okay, this is the next day, so I want to solidify my point. I want to back up my point with this analysis and this example. My point was Ortiz was a fresher, older fighter. Whether he was 40, because there's some debate about that his date of birth was kind of not honest or whatever, because he came from Cuba and he was actually older than what it said at the time. But he was, let's say he was in his late 30s when he fought Wilder. And he was a much fresher fighter than Klitschko, because Klitschko was knocked down, he was knocked out, and Ortiz was absolutely, really a well-preserved late 30s fighter. Much like Povetkin was last night. He wasn't too beat up. He had one loss, but like I said, he didn't impress me, even though I saw the fight. I just watched the fight, and I thought Joshua definitely looked vulnerable early. I did expect him to get KO'd, unlike a lot of so-called boxing experts. I saw a couple of videos where they thought it would be a decision. I thought he would get knocked out. That's exactly what happened. And you should knock a guy out at that age. You definitely should. If you're the young lion, you're supposedly the heavyweight champion of the world or one of the belt holders, and you don't knock out a guy who's in his late 30s, come on. If he didn't do that, I would be sitting here telling you without a doubt, I'd be predicting a fight with Wilder and giving you a whole thing. I'm going to do that regardless, but I would be more confident in a prediction saying Wilder is definitely going to beat Joshua. So what I gathered from the post-fight press conference, Joshua, he has a promoter, Eddie Hearn, from the UK, and this is really deep boxing stuff if you're a big boxing fan, but I got the impression that they're not fighting in April. Yes, he has the place booked out, Joshua, in the UK, where he's getting all his money, all his fans, and they're risking it every time he goes out because he could lose a fight. But I think they're going to milk this. I think they don't want to go to Vegas unless it's ridiculous, a staggering amount of money, maybe $100 million type payday, maybe that's what they're looking for. So they're looking for Fury to lose, and they're not going to make this deal. I can tell you right now, they were like, oh, Wilder needs to make up his mind. That's not true. I don't believe the boxing politics that is all on Wilder. Wilder needs to make up his mind and sign the fight. If he loses, the fight doesn't happen in April versus Joshua in the UK, and if he wins, so on and so forth, they go and fight in the UK. I don't think that's going to happen. I can almost certainly tell you this is not going to happen in April. I'm suspecting they're going to actually go further with this. I think Joshua's going to fight someone he's going to win against in April. They're just milking it. Guys, it's all about money. I'm telling you. And they're going to push it to the limit, meaning they're going to drag this thing out for a little bit here before they cash in the chips and we see who the real heavyweight champion is. Because as far as I'm concerned right now, there's just a bunch of belt holders and guys sitting at the top, and that would be Anthony Joshua versus Wilder. There can only be one. Will it be Fury? Absolutely not. Fury, the whole fight's a joke. Like I said earlier when I was sitting in the car there, I made a video about it already. I don't know what people are talking about. Blind Fury fans, if you're going to sit here and tell me that Fury is going to beat Wilder, I mean, if you think that, this will come back to haunt me, obviously, but I'm just saying I don't think that's going to happen. Wilder should definitely beat Fury based off of Fury not being ready and based off him sitting around for so long and based off him looking like really mediocre in his last two fights. Come on. Real talk. That's just reality, okay? Prove me wrong, get that big upset against Wilder, and we'll be talking a different game here after the fight. But that's not going to happen. I'm quite sure of it. I could bet a ton of money on it and sleep on it fine. What we have here is what it all looks like based on what I know about boxing. It looks like we're going to have a milking process here. They're going to push these guys to the limit. They're going to cash in as many fights where they should win type fights, and then they're going to finally sign the big one maybe in late 2019 or probably most likely 2020, and if they get really ridiculous and silly, it's going to be 2021 by the time these guys get in the ring. That's what's up. All right, guys, I'm out, and we'll be back. I'll be back. Take care. So many seeking power like the Game of Thrones. Planets are revolving around all your homes while you're staring in your phones. Some stay chasing that 15 minutes of fame in the social media game. Time is gonna pour water all over that flame. The earth life dims fast. Pretty soon we'll all be ghosts in the past. Some of us will be asking why couldn't it last? The sea is only so deep. The hourglass ain't